Hello there. My name is Chamchi Gimbab and I am the political fish. And we have a newcomer on the stream today with Mr. Lexit from the New Left Voice. Mr. Lexit, why don't you take away and introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Lexit. I created the New Left Voice YouTube channel. It's basically to give people on the left a platform that you're a skeptic and that are sick of political correctness. So you can come over here and say what the hell you like, and also co-present it with Calvin Rogerson and George Hayes. Okay,
excellent. You New Left Voice, but only for Eurosceptics.
What was that? Sorry.
Only for Eurosceptics.
No. We're Eurosceptics, but anyone else who wants to come on it can be remain or leave. You know, just for debates and things. Really, okay. It's not limited to Eurosceptics, although the presenters are.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense why you had Swiss on your channel first, then. To be honest.
Yeah. Exactly. No, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed it because we were going up. Yeah, sorry.
I thought it was a great stream, mate. Honestly, I did watch bits of it.
Yeah.
So. Okay, excellent. Yeah, go on, carry on. I interrupt.
No, because he really enjoyed it because he told me on his streams he has like people like Angels and Road Dog on, so he has to be restrained when it comes to his Eurosceptic views. But he said to me on there, he was like, I can go all out on this stream, and he really enjoyed it. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. Hi, Swiss, your first one to comment with this banner. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Then it's going to start easy. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the previous Q&As before.
Yeah, I was watching. I think it's Road Dogs yesterday.
Okay, cool. What's your favourite colour?
Green.
Green. Interesting. Any particular shade of green?
Probably darker green.
I really like jade, and I really like that as a name as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Where does Mr. Lexit come from?
I live in the West Midlands, so Birmingham area.
No, the name.
Oh shit! Sorry. sorry. No, I thought you meant where I based. But anyway, sorry. But anyway, it's just I just thought it'd just be a catchy name, to be fair. And plus, I'm left wing. I'm Eurosceptic. I thought it'd be a bit of a catchy name so people will understand what I'm about, really.
Okay, cool. Favorite movie?
I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Most of those movies are good, and I can't really decide one. Well, I don't know what.
Choose one MCN movie.
Goodness me.
MCU movie, sorry.
MCU, yeah, probably. I really like the new Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
That was great fun, that movie. I watched it. They just put it on Netflix here in Korea, and I just watched it again recently, and it's still just as good the second time, to be honest.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I like the action in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of like, I like the darker ones, and yeah, Winter Soldier is really good.
Yeah, because that was his whole backstory after he fell off that train in First Avenger. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked Ragnarok as well, because that was just funny. I laughed my ass off all the way through that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wasn't that the one with like where they had the big fight with the Hulk?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Great movie. Okay, moving on. Favorite author or book or both? Or if they're different, like
I don't really. To be fair, I mean, if like Rowan's watching, and if she is, she'll probably get offended because I don't really read. I'm not into reading.
Fair enough. I find it very difficult to get into.
No, especially because I'm at uni, and especially after A levels, I got sick of reading textbooks. So I just thought, screw it, I'm not going to read at all. To be fair.
Audiobooks help.
Audiobooks, not really. I'm more of a YouTube/computer games guy.
Okay. I was going to say, if you want to read something but not read something, audiobooks help.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, the next question is kind of scrubbed out. What you're reading now? No. Okay. So you say you're a gamer. PC gamer.
PC gamer, yeah.
Okay, cool. Favorite game?
Probably Battlefield 4.
Okay. You're an FPS fan then, I
Yep.
take it. Okay. Why? What do you think Battlefield 1 didn't do that Battlefield 4 did?
It was just the gun control. I just felt it was too noobish, really. I didn't like the guns, and plus, it just didn't play as nicely as BF4 did. I think they're trying to make it more accessible, but I just think it just fell on it flat on its face when it tried to do that. So.
Bonnet Gang just had a comment. He says books are a crucial source of knowledge and they shouldn't be neglected.
I mean, I've read too many books in my academic career so far, so I'm a bit sick of them.
Okay. What do you study?
Computer science at uni.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, right, mate. Less said about that, the better, because I ain't got a clue about it, to be honest. So is that like how microprocessors work, that kind of stuff?
No, you're thinking of electronic engineering. Well, this is more software engineering, general programming, and like just using computers in like really advanced ways, if you will. So we learn command line and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay. So, what's the end goal? What kind of software do you want to specialize in?
I've no idea. Well, there's so many specialisms I can do. I haven't decided. I'm just first year student, so I need to decide.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. No, you got plenty of time for that, mate.
Yeah, because what they said at my uni is they said it's recommended to decide after your placement year, after you've got a taste of work. So that's after my second year. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so Beatles, Elvis, or Rolling Stones?
Probably Rolling Stones, but I don't listen to that type of music anyway. I'm more of a modern type.
Oh, well, I listen to all sorts of music, but usually some people have an opinion. But fair enough, fair enough. I'm glad you chose Rolling Stones. That was my choice anyway. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Okay. Aliens or Predator?
Predator.
Okay, good. What would be your political positioning?
Political position. How should I say this? Centre left with socialist leanings. That's how I put myself personally.
Okay. So do you think the idea of centre left within the UK, do you think that that's skewed and it's really a centre right position? So I mean, let me give an example. So Ed Miliband or Tony Blair, let's say Tony Blair is kind of judged to be like centre left, but if you were to look at it in comparison to say the rest of Europe, he would be more of a centre right person. Do you think?
Exactly. Yeah, because for example, people call him centre left, but he moved Labour all the way to the right, close to the Tories, so you can't really call him centre left.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, good. So what politicized you?
The EU referendum, I thought, because when I didn't do any research on it, but when I was watching the BBC coverage, I thought this is going to be a disaster. And then I thought, you know what? I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to take a year out and do some research on it. And at the end of it, I don't know how it happened. I turned into like a hard Brexiteer at the end of it. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. So what really swung you over to the Leave side? Because I was on the fence for a long time, and obviously not being in the country, I got a more kind of balanced view of it, if that makes sense. So what really? Because you say you were a hardcore Brexiteer by the time the vote came around. What basically batted you over?
It was actually this was 1 year after the vote, so I was Remain when the referendum happened.
Okay.
So this was around June 2017 when I switched to Leave. But anyway, this was it was mostly arguments that I didn't hear in the mainstream media. For example, like people on the left, you had George Galloway, Kate Hoey, and even some of the older 1975 debates with Tony Benn, Peter Shaw, Barbara Castle. Well, you didn't see these things in the mainstream media. They made it seem like a right-wing sort of right versus right. They didn't give the left any say in it, because when I supported Remain, I thought the Leave arguments and the Remain arguments, they just didn't feel right to me. So I just began soul searching, and I found my place on the left-wing Leave position.
I think there was a decent kind of voice for, sorry, not voice, sorry. There was a decent case for a left-wing Remain, and there was a good case for a left-wing Leave. I mean, if you look at the politics of, you know, Corbyn and Ben in the 80s and 90s, they were so Eurosceptic, and those issues were never really solved.
Because in the 1975 referendum, they talked about how it's all about democracy. But this is when it's just trading bloc. They said it's all about democracy at the end of the day, and it's moving towards a European superstate. And they were right, like 40 years later. So yeah. So yeah, nobody. Yeah, sorry.
No, go on, carry on, Karen.
So yeah, I mean, nobody really heeded their warnings, and plus their arguments were lost to the right, because you had right-wingers arguing what they would have said. So I think it turned many people on the left off towards a Leave vote, personally.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, if you were in control of, if you were David Davis, well, not David Davis, but, you know, if you were in control of the Brexit kind of negotiations now, how would you change it, and what would you do differently?
I'd say to them, personally, we will give as little concessions as possible, because, for example, what Theresa May's done, she's conceded on freedom of movement and all these other things during transition period. I'd say if you want a transition, then make it for a year max, but this is a bit too far for me. And if it comes down to it, they say no deal is a bad deal. Like, no deal, you know, is better than a bad deal. I would actually take that position and say to the EU negotiators, I want to trade with you. These are my red lines. Give me yours, and we'll work something out. But if we can't, I might have to take the no deal at the end. So it is going to be a position for me if I was negotiator as well. But I'd still strive for a deal anyway. But it's like with, you know, in the Tory party, they use it as rhetoric, but they don't really mean it. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's just sticking to your red lines. So I'll ask them for their positions. I'll give them mine, and I won't diverge from mine. We'll try and work towards something, but we still need to keep our, you know, our initial positions intact, which the Tories haven't done. They've just capitulated on everything.
Yeah. And I still think, with regards to Brexit, our current government are just winging it a bit. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
They've been winging it from the start, really. Yeah,
but let's be honest. Theresa May is a Remainer, and she delayed Article 50 by 9 months. So that must tell you a lot as well.
Yeah. I just think, she was supposed to be, you know, our strong and stable. Strong
and stable Iron Lady. As they
yeah. She's just a bit flaky, though, isn't she?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah, I mean, you know, love her or hate her, I don't like Margaret Thatcher, but at least she was strong and stable, you know.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. God, Margaret Thatcher. God, there's a woman.
Oh God, I hate her so much, but you know, you can't really. I mean, Theresa May's. You know, I still hate Thatcher, but I still think she's stronger than Theresa May, to be honest. So yeah. All
right. Favourite MP and worst MP?
Dennis Skinner.
Okay.
And does the worst MP have to be a current one? Or
current.
Oh, okay. It's a bit harder then. That's a hard one. I'd personally say, like, one of the Blairites, like, I don't know, Owen Smith maybe? Because backstabbing a Corbyn, then I remember in his leadership election, he sucked up to Corbyn, and now he's towing the second referendum line, even though, you know, we've had a referendum, Labour has said, we're going to leave the single market and we're going to negotiate a deal. But, you know, he's still not buying it. So I just think he's one of those really bad Blairite rebels. He's like one of the worst of them. So, but if I had to pick a past MP, it would definitely be Tony Blair, because he's a terrorist and he's right-winger.
Yeah. So you think that Owen Smith, Owen Smith is worse than your Liz Kendall's, Yvette Cooper's, Chuka Ramuna's?
Well, I slightly, because he's in a higher up position and he's still trying to use it to sabotage Corbyn, even though he got promoted to that position by Corbyn, so he's not being grateful at all. Whereas the others are they're less powerful, they're more backbenchers, so they can say those sort of things, but he can't if he's in that sort of front bench position.
Do you think? Okay, so leading on from this, we're gonna touch on the Labour anti-Semitism business.
Oh yes.
Right. Okay. Do you think the shit that's been thrown around in the mainstream media right now would have stuck half as much if Yvette Cooper and Chuka Umunna kept their fucking mouth shut?
Yes, because it reminds me of what they were doing in 2016, and when they were trying to. Is after the referendum, and they basically had a vote of no confidence. Well, the thing is, they can't do that now because he's increased their vote share to 40%. So they can't really do that as such as labeling him as a bad politician. But they have to find some way to undermine him, and that's like a perfect opportunity.
I mean, it really blows my mind seeing some of the tweets coming from Yvette Cooper and Chuka Umunna over the last couple of days. It's been really, really shitty. It's just been, what the fuck are you trying to do?
Yeah. I mean, you've actually got a strong and stable leader who's gonna probably win you the next election. Why undermine him now? Yeah,
and it seems that this is the trump card. What's that they always throw out when oh shit, nothing's sticking. What will we do? Fucking anti-Semitism.
First it was the whole what wasn't it, like the IRA, and then they had the Czech spy, and then he was like a Russian agent, and then he's now anti-Semitic.
Okay. Okay. I mean that.
I'll give you a take on it. I think I know why they're calling him anti-Semite, because he's actually pro-Palestine. I think that's the main reason, because you have members of the Blairites. I think most of them are members of Labour Friends of Israel, and you have the Conservative Friends of Israel. I think they're in league with each other trying to overthrow him again. So, I think that's why, because he's pro-Palestine. That's my personal take on it.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to talk about it and the mural thing, but I don't want to bog this stream down in stuff like this when it's supposed to be about you.
Exactly. That's just my take on it. That's why I think they're being so-called anti-Semitic. That's why they're doing such.
Let's talk about Dennis Skinner, who's possibly everybody's favourite MP. I mean, I'm sure he features on everybody's top 5 of favourite MPs.
Yeah, beats the ball server. Yeah.
Do you have a particular moment that's your favourite, or that you just went, he's just brilliant? I know there's so many, but
Dodgy Dave.
Was it Dodgy Dave and the Panama Papers? Was it that one?
It was David Cameron, and we're basically, I think it was John Burko. He said, "Let the right honourable gentleman take that back," and he's like, "No, I won't take it back." And this man is Dodgy Dave, and then he walked out of Parliament.
Yeah, I think he walked before he got kicked out of Parliament.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the ball's on that guy. Yeah, I really like him. And also we agree on a lot of things. It's like he's one of those old school lefty Benite types that I look up to. So he's like pro Corbyn and he's pro Brexit as well, because he holds the old school lead position, old school left wing lead position. So that's why I like him a lot. We agree on most things as well.
I mean, if you're looking at a favourite MP from the past, who would that be?
Probably Tony Benn, I think.
I kind of knew. It was kind of a leading question. I kind of knew you were going to say that, and it was kind of weird how much he just wasn't respected. He was basically in the same camp as Corbyn, as he'll never be elected as leader. If he is going to be elected as leader, then he's kind of unelectable due to the 1983 Labour Party, kind of shafting. But after he died, there were a lot of mainstream media papers saying that he was the best prime minister that we never had.
We never had, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was a bit weird.
Yeah, especially you saw the Blairite Guardian, for example, like saying stuff like that, and you might think, what are these guys doing? They're Blairite. They're not supposed to be saying this sort of thing.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, one of my worst MPs is his son, Hillary Benn.
Oh, God. Well, he's named Hillary for a start, you know.
That's low-hanging fruit, mate. Come on. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, some of the stances that he's taken, his father will be turning in his grave.
Turning in his grave, like reversing Brexit and being pro-war, I think are the big two, personally.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely. Well, we got 9 people watching. That was my last serious question, and we got a bit of time. We seem to have escaped through that pretty quickly. I do have one question left for you, which I'm sure you know what that is. So what I want to do is turn it onto the floor. Do any of you guys there, Bonnet Gang, Cameron, or Captain Swiss, do you have any questions for Mr. Lexit from the New Left Voice? Do you have any questions? So yeah, really. So are you on like Easter holds at the moment?
Yeah, I actually broke up 2 weeks early because of the strike, so I go back on the 16th of April as opposed to the 30th. So I'm still at uni. That's why I'm on my rig at the moment, but I'm going home for the weekend and I'm coming back to uni.
Okay. Week, so what was your stance on the strike?
I supported the strike, you know, very strongly because of the whole. It would turn out that the lecturers would be 40% worse off when it comes to pensions, but it's just the way that my uni handled it. It's just terrible, and plus we don't know what material is going to be on the exam. So, yeah, especially with a computer science degree, the amount of lectures we've missed, it would have nearly been as much, you know, of a term's worth of work for, say, humanities degree, for example.
Okay. Cool. We've got a couple of questions. Bob Elvis, I think he missed your introduction, but he said, "What is New Left?" I think, but yeah, go on. I'll let you explain that.
So New Left Voice is a YouTube channel I co-created with Calvin Rogerson and George Hayes, and it's just something different for left-wing viewers. So it's like. It takes a Eurosceptic view of things, and it's more of like an old school lefty type channel. So it's Eurosceptic and it's non-politically correct, but anyone can come on, whether remain or leave or whatever, right wing or left wing, and say what they like. So it's an open platform, really.
Okay, excellent. Now we have a question from Old School, and it's kind of a two-parter, and you've kind of answered the first part of it. So if you jump onto the second part, but I will read the whole thing, okay? He says, what is the New Left Voice, and how do they represent anti-authoritarian left ideology?
Anti-authoritarian left ideology. I'd say we're more pro-socialist, and we're Eurosceptic as well. So we're anti-EU and anti, you know, authoritarian, that sort of thing. And we talk about how the EU has like treated Greece or Italy and that sort of thing. So that we talk about those sorts of issues, and that's how we're anti-authoritarian.
Good. So, and you do that through evolutionary politics rather than revolutionary politics, I assume.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's okay, it's cool. So I have a question here from Jack James. Hi, Jack James. Hope you're doing well. Does it worry you having a free trade deal with America, particularly further liberalizing our market?
I'd say yes to that, partly because people always talk about chlorinated chicken, and you know, that's not a big thing, because if you had chlorinated chicken, they'd surely label it and you just wouldn't buy it. But I'd say it's more about liberalizing our services industry and our public services, and that's what America was striving for with TTIP inside the EU, and now they've done it with CETA. Canada signed basically a carbon copy of TTIP, and we're basically getting a similar deal if we left or stayed. So you know, it's a lose-lose situation either way. If it, you know, if it has provisions for public service privatization, then no, I'm not agreeing with it.
I really don't agree with it either. I mean, for the first thing, I don't think we'll be able to manage a free trade deal with America, because he wants to stick tariffs on all our steel, and you put a tariff on Bombardier. So I don't really see in it. Well, it won't work on a 50-50, let alone in our favor. So
because he says America first, so
yeah.
It's, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it would have to be like weighted in his favor. So I don't see it actually working. We have a question from Cameron Hickman. Cameron, good to see you on the stream. Do you think the nerve agent attack was done by the British deep state?
I think it might have been, because it's just how the media have handled it, and they're quick to blame Russia on everything. So it's just like, say, with Iraq, how they said there's weapons of mass destruction. You know, they are very quick to say things without backing it up. It's that sort of thing. But I think it could have been an inside job, personally. It's just a theory. And plus, you know, how they're labeling, say, Corbyn and his supporters as Russian agents as well. I think it was partly to do that. You know, that was one of its goals, I think.
Well, I was reading an article in the New Scientist quite recently, and I actually sent a chunk of it over to Captain Swiss, and they were saying that basically since 1982 there were a number of places that had the ability to produce this nerve agent, and the fact that they are very quick to put the finger on Russia, and you know, we've sent it to these independent people about against the proliferation of chemical weapons. I can't remember what the title of that independent office is, and they said, well, it's going to be in about another week before we get the results. If they say it's produced by somewhere in Outer Mongolia, for instance, in someone's shed, we're going to look very, very stupid, for one thing.
Yeah, because you had Theresa May and Boris Johnson, who also supported the Iraq War. You have those people quick to jump on the Russia line. So it's what I've told people. It's like Iraq 2.0. It's just, you know, trying to, you know, divide and rule, really.
You can feel the echoes, definitely. I will give you that. We get a lot of love for you in the chat. At Old School says, good answer to your ideas on fighting authoritarianism. Hang on, my teeth are coming loose. Hang on. Authoritarianism. Okay, and he has got a follow-up question. Sorry, has got a follow-up question. What is your stance on anarchism?
I would support it, but it's just, I'm just worried about the means of how it will be achieved. Will it be achieved through violence, or will it, you know, it's that sort of thing. It's like how we achieve it, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm open to supporting it, but it's just, I'm just worried about how we'd achieve it, really.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that completely. Captain Swiss has a comment. My chlorinated chicken. I had to do that in American accent. I assume that's what he wanted. But Belvis, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. I know you're a friend of Angel's, but Belvis, is that okay? If it's really bad, I'm really sorry. What is Lexit's opinion on Islam in the West?
Interesting, actually. I would say it's all about the individual, really. It's regardless of any religion. It's all about, you know, the individuals coming over here, fitting into society. It's not so much. It's all about the individual, really. So it's like, for example, it's like how I'd say how Merkel handled the whole migration crisis thing. I don't support it, because there's no point opening up the borders completely to like 2 million people and then not having a proper refugee support system in place. It's just insane. It's just insane.
Yeah, indeed. Just to give an example, here in South Korea, when they accept defectors from North Korea, they don't just go get pushed into general like South Korean civilization. Go on, off you go then, off you shoot, go and make the best of it. No, they spend a couple of weeks with them in kind of acclimatizing them to the differences between North and South Korea, and to have that kind of focus of integration, I think would help rather than just going. That the scenes from Calais were quite scary, and a lot of it was of our making, to be honest.
Either
directly or indirectly.
Because we went into those countries, we created these monsters like ISIS and these sorts of things, and we've led to this. Definitely.
Old School has said, thank you for the answers. He appreciates them, and he would like to chat to you about the subject sometime. Maybe you can sort something out for him.
Sure.
He's a great person to listen to, and he always gets a lot of love whenever he's on my channel. So, very interesting guy. Any more questions? Babelvis says, I don't see how the gas can be Russian. Well, this is what we're saying. It could be from any number of places, as far as I know. And they were saying that this is high grade stuff, whereas a lot of scientists are saying that with a little bit of know-how, you could pretty much produce it in any kind of laboratory, and it really isn't that difficult. But yep. Whereas created the migration crisis, indeed, indeed, Cameron. Completely agree. I reckon the gas came from Porton Down. Well, there's just as much evidence it came from Porton Down than there is it came from Russia, to be honest, which is not very much. So I think that's the problem. When you don't give the people the evidence, that's when they start to come up with crazy ideas, Okay. Right. Are you ready to move on to the final question?
Sure.
Okay. Are you strapped in?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What is your chosen weapon in a zombie apocalypse?
Chosen weapon. Ooh, probably a flamethrower.
That's what Road Dog said.
Oh, okay.
No, you're allowed to pick the same, because I've had a couple of people say the same thing.
Yeah.
But my question to you would be, where would you get the fuel from?
Like steal it from broken down cars and stuff.
Okay,
suck it out. Yeah.
There's assuming you want to survive more than a year, I would assume that a lot of cars would be siphoned off, and it isn't a lasting solution.
Yeah. Or I could do build myself a laser weapon or something to yeah.
A laser weapon. A laser weapon. Okay, interesting. I was actually thinking about this flamethrower thing, and I was going to talk to Road Dog about it, but as you're here, I'll talk about it. Maybe there's a way you could run it on biofuel.
Yeah.
Because pig fat is pretty flammable. You just have to keep it above a certain temperature. So in summer it would be easy to do, because you just put it in a container, and I reckon it wouldn't take long before it got above 70 degrees. But in winter it would be difficult. How would you keep the fuel heated to become flammable?
Probably keep it somewhere underground that's warm.
What, like Zion, for instance?
Yeah, so build myself an underground bunker and keep that place warm. So then it's because of the whole, it'll be insulated from the outside world by the earth on top of it and beside it. So it's easy to keep it warm.
Shafted made a good point, is that some people say looking at their phones is like a zombie apocalypse.
I think in some countries they have phone like walking lanes on the side of the street where people can just use their phones. I think it's like phone lanes or something, and they look like zombies.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life, right, is I'll finish a class and I'll say, okay, you've got 5 minutes, you can talk amongst yourselves, right? And I've got, say, 15 kids in the class. And as soon as I say that, what they all do, literally in synchronous, they just reach in their pockets, pick out their phones, and start banging about on their phones, right? And it's really sad. And they're all sitting next to each other, and there's not a single conversation.
Yeah, but the thing is, isn't that the whole point of school, to like engage students in conversation and stuff like that? So that's sort of like defeating the point of school, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It scares the shit out of me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so I think we are just about done, mate. So that wasn't too painful, was it?
No, it wasn't that bad. Good.
It's just a bit of fun, mate.
Yeah.
And I like them to be kind of short and sweet as well. So, only 40 minutes long. Anything else coming from the chat? No, I think we're just about done. I think we are just about done. A few ideas on the apocalypse weapon. Bread knife from Kyoto, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Kuka, Kyoto, Tokyo. Yeah, that one. Sickle or hammer, or both, for instance. Yeah. Got something to build with and something to cut with.
Oh, I've got a good idea. How about, they're talking about these sorts of things, how about like a boomerang or something?
Yeah, that could be cool. Kind of a throwing melee jobby thing. That could work. Yeah. That could work. It's not very accurate though. But yeah, good job. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Captain Swiss is going to be back on at 5 o'clock talking about Cambridge Analytica, which I will be tuning in for, so make sure everybody else does. This week I've got, hopefully, Angels coming on my stream to we're going to talk about some fun conspiracy theories, which should be good, and our favorite ones. So yeah, Mr. Lexit, sign off. Tell us what you've got going on this week.
Well, tomorrow I've got my usual stream with George and Calvin, and we're thinking about having Jennifer James on. So she's like one of those people that's against, what was it, the self-ID thing. So that's going to be really interesting. So, and also on Sunday, I'm thinking about doing like maybe merging with Swiss's stream, because they're like a big Sunday, like Easter/April Fool special, and he suggested, he does his stuff, we join, and then he can join ours. I think we might do that maybe.
Okay, excellent. That sounds great. I usually tune in for Swiss's Sunday streams. Always some fun to be had there. So excellent. You've been watching the Q&A with Lexit from the New Left Voice and Chamchi Gimbap, the political fish. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that groovy stuff. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.